Welcome back to Bree's Dark Desserts. Today we're making a Medovik, also known as a Russian honey cake, but with a fiery twist, a cayenne spiced filling. Sweet, rich, and with just enough heat to sting, it's the perfect dessert to pair with the story of Olga of Kiev, because trust me, her revenge burns hotter than honey. The year was 945 CE. Prince Igor of Kiev rode out to collect tribute from the Drevlians, a neighboring Slavic tribe. But Igor made a fatal mistake. After collecting tribute once, he returned for more, and greed cost him his life. The Drevlians seized him, tied his legs to two bent birch trees, and let them snap, tearing Igor apart, leaving his son too young to rule, and so power fell to his widow, Olga of Kiev. What came next was one of the most infamous revenge stories in all of medieval history. Olga's revenge lasted through 3 sets of Drevlian ambassadors and then finally their entire kingdom. The Drevlians thought Olga was vulnerable, so they sent the first ambassadors, urging her to marry their prince, Mal. Outwardly calm, she pretended to agree, having her men carry the ambassadors across the shore in their boats, seeming to take them to her castle. But as they were carried ashore by her troops, she had them and their boats thrown into a deep trench and buried alive. The Drevlians sent out a message to Olga asking if the first set of ambassadors had arrived. When she told them no, and that she had not seen their men, the Drevlians sent out a second group of ambassadors. When another Drevlian delegation arrived, Olga invited them to cleanse themselves in a bathhouse before meeting with her. Once inside the bathhouse, the doors were barricaded, and the building was set on fire, burning the Drevlians alive. Still unaware of their comrades' fates, a third group of ambassadors came for a funeral feast in Igor's honor. Olga welcomed them warmly. They drank, they laughed, and once they were heavily intoxicated, Olga's soldiers were instructed to war against the men, slaughtering about 5,000 Drevlians in one night. Finally, Olga marched her army to the Drevlian capital. The city walls held strong, but Olga was clever. She promised peace if each household paid her tribute, 3 pigeons and 3 sparrows. When the birds were delivered, she tied burning sulfur to their legs and released them. Terrified, the birds flew home to their nests beneath the roofs and the eaves of the city people. The city erupted in flames. As fire consumed the village, Olga's army struck, killing or enslaving the survivors. The Drevlians were utterly destroyed. Olga had avenged Igor with a brilliance and cruelty that would echo for centuries. But this is not the end of her story. After vengeance came order. Olga reorganized the tribute system, creating strong administrative centers and standardized taxation. Unlike Igor, she did not bleed her people dry with greed. Instead, she built stability and reinforced central authority, ensuring no other tribe could challenge her rule so easily. Around 955 CE, Olga traveled to Constantinople, capital of the Byzantine Empire. There, she converted to Christianity under Emperor Constantine VII, taking the name Helena. Some sources claim Constantine was so taken with her that he proposed marriage, but Olga refused with a cutting remark. Since he had stood as her godfather at baptism, he was now her spiritual father. Marriage was impossible. Though her son clung to pagan traditions, Olga's faith laid the groundwork for her grandson Vladimir the Great, who would later baptize the entire Rus in 988 CE. Olga ruled as regent until her son came of age. When she died in 969 CE, she requested no pagan rites, remaining faithful to Christianity until the end. The Orthodox Church later canonized her as Saint Olga of Kiev, the first saint of Rus. But history remembers both sides of her. The avenger who buried envoys alive, set cities ablaze with fire-bearing birds, and the saint who planted the seed of faith that would transform a nation. Olga's life read like 2 very different stories stitched together. In her youth, she was the embodiment of Old Testament justice, vengeance swift and merciless, echoing the words from Exodus 21, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But later, when she embraced Christianity, we see a transformation. She put away the sword and turned to faith, mirroring the call of Christ in Matthew 5:44, to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Olga's legacy is a reminder that even the fiercest among us are not beyond redemption. She began as a widow, drenched in blood, but she ended as a saint, remembered for planting the seeds of faith in her nation. Olga's legacy is a reminder that even the sweetest stories can hide fire within. This has been Bree's Dark Desserts. If you enjoyed this chilling tale and decadent treat, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another story with your fellow dark bakers. Until next time, may your day not only be sweet, but blessed, and may the stories and treats inspire both your heart and your hands.